We're listening to that was Stephen Morris, North West representative for the Workers of England Union. Stephen, good evening to you. Just explain what the Workers of England Union is before we start.
Well, we're a union that was set up just to look after all the workers of England. You've got the Scottish TUC, the Welsh TUC, look after the interests of the Welsh and Scottish workers. But in England, there is no such thing. And when we've seen jobs transferred from Portsmouth up to Scotland, to the detriment of the working people in England, we've come about because of that, because a lot of the UK government is not looking after the workers in England's interests, and sometimes that work is being transferred abroad or even to other areas of the UK.
So when you listen to Ed Miliband making his pledges on immigration, do you think he's on the right track, or do you want him to do more?
Well, I think obviously he admitted in September 2011 himself that Labour's immigration policy actually drove down wages and the standards of living. So if you want to raise them, then obviously you just do the opposite, and that means you've got to control the immigration. The problem being is they're not looking at the entire bigger picture, where jobs in London, firms in London have actually advertised in Europe for workers. Obviously, Arriva did that with Polish drivers. Now, there's plenty of people in London who would have loved them jobs. Not only would you have got them off the unemployment benefit and got them into work, therefore reducing the overall benefits of the country, they would then be producing money into the tax system. As it is, bringing in somebody from abroad who is only just coming here and then staying, they'll be taking the money. But
so why do you think companies do this?
Well, they're trying to drive down wages. I know they talk about the minimum wage, but if you've got somebody, say, on 10, 11 quid an hour, and you've got quite a few employees, and then suddenly they say, well, if we get these foreign workers, we can drop that down to the minimum wage. So they'll still be complying with the minimum wage.
But what can you do about that? Because I can't see how the law, you're absolutely right in what you say, but I can't see how the law can really intervene on that.
Well, I'm sure it can, because there's plenty of areas where you'll find big companies, and I know there's a couple near me at the moment where they've had some superstores built, and part of the planning was to take on so many local people. So if you're saying in London you get a superstore building in a particular area and say, well, you've got to take on 100 local people, what's the difference with them saying, well, you've got to take on X numbers of UK people first, who may be on the unemployment or on benefits, and you want to get them out.
To my mind, maybe the solution is, let's take your bus company as an example.
Yeah.
If you're paying current bus drivers, say, I don't know, £12 an hour, and then you advertise for some new jobs in Poland, maybe the system should say, well, if you're offering £12 an hour already, that's what you have to keep offering.
Well, yeah, it should be a standard wage. You can't keep bringing it in. And this is where, because there's no English unions arguing for the workers in England properly, they're not interested. So the union should be saying, no, we have a certain amount of people in this country that have to have this minimum wage, because obviously in London it's a lot dearer living, so the wage is different, but that puts an adverse effect onto the company. And all the company's trying to do every time is to reduce the biggest cost burden to them, which is actually the waging system and obviously the national insurance and the taxings that go with it. So they want to reduce that to the minimum they can.
OK, Stephen, we have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed. 0345 6060 973. That was Stephen Morris from the Workers of England Union.